Hi friends, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and today we are going to start the big journal I'm going to make with my holiday cheer kit. So if you missed the first few videos where I introduced and used the kit, here are some of the things that we made. A fun pocket page flip out for to put in a journal or give as a gift. I didn't decorate the backs of mine because I intend for them to go into a journal at some point. Then we also made a little bit of ephemera. We made this nice large tag. These can be used on gifts or in journals. And then we made this greeting card. I love that train. So I just have these set here to give you examples of other things we've made and will be making. But today we're going to work on a cover and hopefully get some pages sewn in. I may wait to sew the pages in. I'm still, as I think through it as we're making the cover, I'll decide, because I'm thinking I may want to make, I don't want to use this one, but some or I could even just get the paper ready and sew them in, because I might like to have some things that look like little cards and things within the signature. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. Here are the pages that I've printed off to decide what order I want them in. And there's 10 of them. So again, I may throw in a couple of bags or some book page or again, some cardstock, something. But look at this. I showed you guys this when I showed you my haul from my yard sale, the world's longest yard sale that I went to. And this is a vintage placemat with Santa on it. And I want to turn it into a journal cover. I've never done this. We're going to try it together. I don't know why there were 5. I think I have 4 of these left. If there's interest, once y'all see how this comes together, drop some comments, give the video a thumbs up. I could post these as a vintage item in my Etsy shop if you would like one to make a similar journal. Now you can make a journal like I'm doing and just do a different type cover, use fabric, just use paper. So I'll give you some options, but I just thought some folks might like one of these, and I only have a couple. So, all right. When it's folded in half, Santa looks like this, and this is why I'm not going to do a very large, it's going to be a single signature journal, but I'm okay with that. But what I think I want to do, and I started playing with it off camera, and I haven't made it because, like I said, I'm hoping it works, but I only have a few of these placemats. And, sometimes you can find some cute ones like at the Dollar Tree, or, it might not be vintage, but you might be able to just find a holiday placemat that you like that you could use for this. But I'm thinking I'm going to turn it into a rectangle. So what I then did was I prepped some chipboard, and I didn't have chipboard, or I think this is really just craft cardstock, but large enough. So I measured it, and it ended up being, let's see, 12, I think it's like 13¼ inches wide, and then 10 1/8 tall. So I just cut the craft cardstock and taped it together. Well, I don't want that look. And of course I could put a strip of something, but I decided, because I like the color of these brown bags, to cut it to size. I've already kind of glued it together so it doesn't open up. And I'm just going to put it on here. And then hopefully when I wrap this around, hopefully, we'll have some nice corners and it'll look good. That's what I'm hoping. So while I'm messing with this, let's go ahead. I'm going to, and it might be better to just use the cardstock and not try to line it with the paper, and just know I'm going to cover the tape up. I don't know. It may get a little bubbly. We'll see. I can always then decorate that or add pockets or something. We're just gonna go with my original thought, see how it goes. I usually like to make prototypes for you guys so you can see at the beginning of the video, you know, what we're making. And most of my videos are like that, not all of them. But again, these are special supplies, and I wanted to be able to show you the process. So we're gonna just try it together and know that if it doesn't work the way I want it to, we learned something, right? Okay. The other thing I want to go ahead and do is fold this in half so I get a sense of where that happens. And I kind of like it getting a little crinkly and stuff. So anyway, we'll just see what happens. Now, I think the big thing for me is going to be trying to get this as close as I can to these corners so that when I fold it, you know, they look good. Now, we could lay this on the sewing machine, right, and go around, but I think I'm going to just attempt to do this with maybe some, trying to decide. We may start with two-sided tape. I may decide I have to lay it on the sewing machine, or we could put some, maybe some slow stitch, some hand stitching in. I also have out some of my Christmas ribbons and trims, and I have some lace, and yeah, I have pom-pom ribbon. So we're really gonna make this cover fancy and cute. Now I'm thinking, just to sort of, this isn't going to really like hold the fabric to the cardstock, but I'm thinking just to give us a little bit, so hopefully it doesn't wiggle too much. Let's just see if it'll hold it a touch while I'm working. And I wanted the cardstock on here just, again, to give the fabric a little more structure. That's something that I like. But you certainly, I don't think you need that. It's sort of holding. I wouldn't use that as a permanent adhesive, but it'll get us going. Okay. I think if I do go the tape route, if I'm not liking it, I can pull it off of this fabric, and then I'll decide, you know, how to make sure all of this never comes undone, right? Once I know I'm happy with it. All right, so I'm just gonna use my two-sided tape, and we're gonna see what happens. And I'm sure, you know, we could use some of that like no-sew fuse stuff, especially if I didn't put the paper in there. If I had fabric here, you know, that you iron on, that would be a good option. And you guys probably have lots of ideas. Feel free to share them if you want to in the comments. But again, I'm going for this, but I'm happy to hear other ideas for next time and to learn, okay? So feel free if you've got ideas that you think would work or definitely work better, all of the things. Okay, so I'm gonna start there. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and do this end, and then we'll do these larger flaps and see what we think. And I'm using, you know, two strips because I want it to cover, you know, as much of the fabric as I can. I'm sure they make this stuff wider, but this is the widest I happen to have right now. Okay. Get it kind of burnished down. I don't want it coming apart, but again, if I plan to do some stitching, now getting a needle through the cardstock and the fabric may be a bit challenging, and for my sewing machine too. So again, I'm just gonna have to kind of think about this as we go, and it may be enough to just have a few stitches. So we'll see. Okay, so far, see what happens when we try to fold it in half. Yeah. And see, and I don't mind if it gets chunky and kind of opens up a little, but I think that looks okay. Okay, let's keep going. Now, this is where I'm going to have to, I think, do the, see just what it looks like. I want the corners to look nice, and I think they're going to do that no matter what I do, but I can plan to add some trim to help cover that up a little bit. Let me see. I know you guys probably can't even see what I'm doing, but if I try to tuck it in like I do with paper, looks a little bit better. I think I'm not going to worry about that. I think I'm going to just let it have that little bit of the, is that going to make me crazy? I don't know. Or maybe we'll figure out some kind of corner or something. I don't know. We're just going to do it. And I'll probably, you know, if I did some pom-pom trim or something along the edges, or put some kind of decoration, I really think it would probably be fine. All right, we're gonna do maybe, let's see, 3 strips. You think that's enough? Yeah, I think that's enough. And of course, I'm using tape too, so if I decide to try to put a needle through this, I'm gonna have it be all goopy. This is gonna be fun. The things you do for beauty, right? I knew when I picked these up, though, that I really wanted to use them to make a journal cover. Like, I got very excited about it. So, trying to decide. I think I'm going to go not quite as tight, but line that up. And then just kind of push it down. Yeah. That's not bad. And that's the back cover. Okay. Here we go. We're almost there. I'm wondering if I should have done the front cover first, simply because, I mean, that way I got to see what the back looked like, but I'm wondering if it's going to have some kind of gather or something. Oops. Well, if you are new to my channel, let's talk about that. Welcome, welcome. If you're one of my returning viewers, subscribers, yay, thank you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Y'all, please make sure you just take that second. It doesn't cost anything to hit that like button. And if you have another second, drop me a comment. It tells YouTube you like my content and hopefully help my channel out some. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing so. I'm still figuring out this whole hype thing and what it does, but I'm sure it helps in some way, right? So if you have the ability to hype, or you haven't hyped, I think you only get to hype 3 times or something each week. But if you can, I think you have to do that from like a phone or a tablet, but I would really appreciate it. And I understand if you're watching on your TV, you can't leave comments and all that, but you can hit that thumbs up. Okay. My husband watches on the TV, but then if he really likes something, he goes on his phone and leaves a comment. Not just for me, but, you know, for other people. All right, it's not horrible. The corners are not my favorite, but it's not bad. And I can see this having some more embellishment and fun too. Let's see. So I have this basket, and it's not organized great. Y'all might remember it from last year if you've been around. Some of this is things I've had from last year. So I have small pom-pom in green. I have red, white, and a little bit of this green left. Ribbons, pencils, a Merry and Bright stamp. That's cute, isn't it? So yeah, just fun stuff that we can craft with. Thinking the pom-poms make sense. Let's just see. And I may not put them on yet. I may wait till I get a little further in. But let's see. Let me get this tape off of here. I'm down to my last little bit of green. And I'm trying this year to not buy as like ribbon and trim and things, and to use what I have in my stash, because I have a lot, especially a lot of Christmas themed things. I mean, paper to me is different. Like, I'm probably going to buy paper, but I have so much of this kind of stuff too that, so if we did, and we could even do like maybe a double or a triple strand of pom-pom. The green is bigger. The pom-poms on the green is bigger. I was thinking about that large pink pom-pom trim I have would be cute for like a pink Santa. But we might do like green and red or and white. I'm going to set this aside for a moment because I do like that. So I'm going to keep that in mind for my edges. I'm wondering, not the best, you know, at stitching by hand, but again, it doesn't have to look perfect. I just feel like this needs, I mean, unless you pull it, it's not going to come undone, I don't think, but I still feel like it needs something. So let me just sit here for a second and think. I'm wondering if I can make this gold thread. Like I could do, I don't know, just like a few stitches. I don't know. Could I? What do y'all think? Or stitches around. Let's see if I thread it, what happens. Because this is not the easiest to work with. I've told y'all how it likes to fray. I actually think I'm going to go with a larger needle, a little bit bigger, because it's got a lot it's got to go through. I did order myself, I got sucked into one of those ads. It was an ad for some craft supplies or something, I think on Instagram, but it started talking about needles and why it's so hard to hand stitch. I think it was because I've been looking at a bunch of, you know, slow stitch stuff. Anyway, but they're not here yet. But I did order myself some, they're supposedly like heavy duty, I don't know if it's steel or what, but needles that are supposed to make, like, can go through multiple layers of denim. So anyway, I'll let you know what I think, or if they ever arrive, because, you know, it was late at night and I was looking at an Instagram ad and decided to hit buy instead of researching it. And I don't do that very often, honestly. Okay. I'm going to, you know what might work? I mean, it would be a lot of stitching if I did it, but I could follow some of the stitching, not do all of it, but that's here in the placemat itself, because I might like it better, you know, if it's a little bit, what's the word, you know, more even. Let's just see if I can, of course, being right here in the corner is not the easiest. There we go. Not the easiest. I mean, it definitely would hold it together, and I wouldn't have to worry about that as much. All right, I'm going to pull this a little bit like that. Okay, so let's see. I mean, the gold is pretty on there. So what if I did each of these triangles? Is that a lot? Probably. But we'll do a few, and then if I decide I'm going to do it, I don't have to do it all on camera. We'll see. I am going to knot it and then start again, just because we're going to see here, and, you know, I want it to look, I mean, I don't mind seeing it, but I do want it to look nice. And you know, I may end up having to do some trims. A fun plaid might look cute, you know, but we'll just see. We'll see how far we go. All right. And I haven't decided, like, when I go to do, like, the trim, am I going to sew it on? And so that might work for along this edge. We'll just see. Let me get going. And we'll try. Whenever I start working on Christmas crafts, I can't help but think about my mom. She loved Christmas. And kind of like with our birthdays and other things, she always made a big to-do. Yes, she did. We had all kinds of traditions from when we would decorate the tree. Usually we did ours like the day after Thanksgiving or very, very early in December, but not before. And she would make eggnog. And back then, yeah, you made homemade eggnog, which we wouldn't do now with the eggs probably. But back then we did. I still have her recipe. It's the consuming of the raw eggs that people will probably, if I talk about it, go, no, you can't do that. But we just buy it in the store now. And when we were kids, of course, it was just the eggnog. It didn't have any alcohol in it. But she and my dad would each have like one eggnog. It was her favorite thing. She didn't really drink, but she did like one eggnog when we decorated the Christmas tree. And what else did she do? Of course, the house was decorated like something out of a magazine. She was really talented with that. And what else? So many things. We had Christmas stockings that she made that had our names on them. She updated them. And we went back to the originals. But she did update them, and then, like, it was like they were for decoration almost. And she did it when I got married, actually. When I, was young, in my 20s, my first husband, because she wanted him to have one, and then she kind of wanted him to match on the mantle. And she's like, and that way I can give you and your brother yours you had from when you were kids. But we really liked the originals the best. I have all of those now. Well, not dodo heads, but my brothers and mine and everything. And we use them because, she also then made her first grandchild, Daniel, one. A different one, very cute. And he uses that. I forgot I was going to tie it off. We'll just leave it. Anyway, and then my daughter Sarah always used mine. It didn't have my name. My original didn't have my name on it. She had cross-stitched these really, really precious Christmas bears on it. So Sarah still uses that one. And sometimes I feel bad that she didn't have her own. And we talked about it, and when she was a little girl, and she always picked that one. That's the one she wanted. She didn't want a new one because her grandma offered to make her one, I don't know why she didn't do it when she was a baby like she did with her first grandchild, my son, but who knows? You know how that is. So anyway, Christmas stockings, and I always have an orange in them, along with other treats, but it was, I think, so on Christmas morning we would at least eat something that was somewhat healthy, maybe. Or maybe there's a tradition, if you guys know, or like it has a different significance, let me know. All right, what are y'all thinking of the gold stitching? I'm thinking it looks good, but I'm thinking it's going to take me a while to go the bottom and then do the top, and then I'll do something else probably as I do trim on the sides. Let's finish this triangle, and then we can work on another part of the journal, or of the cover, and then I'll finish the stitching off camera. And next time we come back to this video, gosh, I'm trying to get it lined up with the hole, and that's part of my problem, why it's taking so long. then, what was I going to say? You'll be able to see it when we come back to the next one, which will probably, honestly, I mean, maybe be next week. I still have a lot of fall crafts I'm doing, and I have, I'm going to be talking about it at my live this week on Wednesday. I'm hosting a November weekly challenge, so it'll just be 4 prompts, but with Amy, hi Amy, who is on my design team, ouch, and it is all about kind of gratitude and affirmations. Anyway, there'll be a prompt each week. We're each going to do a project, and if you guys play along, watch the videos and play along and stuff, and I think anyway, I got to talk to Amy, but there's going to be some requirements to playing along, but then we're going to pick 2 winners, and one of you will win a mini journal that I've made during the month of November, and one of you will win a mini journal that Amy made during the month, and her crafts are gorgeous. Y'all will love anything Amy makes. So anyway, let's just start folding these to see how we're going to think they're going to look, and I'll get them in the order I want. But that's coming up. So I'll have at least 1 project a week using that kit. And I'm going to do a whole announcement, explain the challenge, all of that Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. And I've got a little flyer for it, and we'll probably put some instructions on the community tab on YouTube, and I'll probably put the announcement also on Instagram. I'm trying to think of where else. And if you are playing, I definitely would love for y'all to post pictures of your projects in my YouTube community tab. That's kind of what Amy and I talked about. And for some of you, it might be hard to find. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe even talk through how to do that if I can. It's a little hard because all my devices, when I'm live, I'm using. But if you're having trouble, you could message one of us or message us, and then one of us can help you. But anyway, that way we'll be able to count and track who made something. And we're going to make it pretty easy with the prompts. I'm even going to have a freebie. You guys are going to love it. To go with the kit. It coordinates with the kit that I made. And you don't have to have the kit to play, but you can use the freebie if you want to. Or use whatever you want, right? So anyway, all of that to say, I think I'm going to, for right now, I'm going to put this tree first. And then we'll have a drawing at the end of the month. So lots of fun things. Okay, that was a green. I'm trying to find, there's a whole lot with green inside. I was trying to alternate them a little bit. Let's do another green since I have a lot of green. And then I'll look to see if I like the order they are in. All right, so this is me just figuring out my signatures and where I want them. And then we will go from there. All right. So this kit has all these different pages, right? But then it also has, and they're not quite solid. They've got a little bit of texture to them, but like background pages. And there's like that blue, there's a couple of greens and a couple of reds. So you have some choices. And this is what I'm envisioning. It's still a pretty tall journal, a lot taller than my pages. Yep, I think it's just going to have to be like that. It will give room if we have items sticking out. We can again do quite a bit of ruffle, that kind of thing. I wanted to have trim. I want to use this paper. I guess all of these could have gotten mounted on like scrapbook paper to make the pages larger. That's a lot, isn't it? A lot of resources and a lot of paper. Why don't I make mine this size? But that's an idea. If you decide to do something, if you have a placemat or fabric that you're using, you might just want to make your cover smaller if you're going to use digital, you know, papers. But I really wanted to keep the image and not fold it over and lose the wreath and the red. So this is the way mine's going to be. But that's okay. So again, I was thinking I might wait to sew this in, but you know what, y'all? It's already so thick that I think I'm just going to sew it in, and then if I want to do bags or cards or things, I will make them in such a way that they can just be added onto the pages, or we can do extended pages, like accordion fold out pages, those types of things. So I think that's my plan. And so I'm going to go ahead and sew these in if I can get a needle through here. We'll do our best. I'm going to use this huge binder clip. I think it'll just reach. I doubt my other ones will. Yep. Not even worth trying. This is the only one that I have, so I'm going to have to be really careful playing with this. Okay. Let me get my paper piercer. All right. These are almost exactly 8 inches. So we're going to go, do it at 4 and then maybe 3/4. There we go. Just so that they're spread out. This is a lot to go through. Let's see, but if I can get it through with this big old paper piercer, it'll be easier for that needle to go through. All right. I'm using a lot of strength. A lot of times I will do this. Of course, keep my face away from it. Don't want to poke my eye out. Okay. Yay. And luckily, I'm only doing the one signature. So hopefully it won't be too bad. It's just a lot of cardstock. And then of course it came undone. And then the cover as well. Okay. Now we're just going to have to try our best to line it up. Okay. Needle. I need a big needle. We're going to try this one and hope it works. I'm not going to bother with that because it's not really working. We're going to use, maybe, let me see if I have a green or something. Just an embroidery floss. That might be pretty. If I don't have the right color, I'll probably just do the brown. I don't see a Christmas red. That's not very dark. Ooh, wonder if there's enough of that one. I don't know, it doesn't look very long. I need it to be approximately 3 times. 1, 2. Ooh. It might work. We'll try it. I'll just be careful. All right. This to me looks more like a Christmas green. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start in the center and pull it through, and then go through my top hole back in. And now we will skip the center hole go in the bottom. Whoops. There we go. Oops. Ugh. All right, and now leave that very long. I think one of the layers or one of the strands is not as long. I don't know what I was doing, but we'll see if we can make this work. Whoops, I've already pulled it through. Okay, let me look at the thread and see what we've got going on. See, it's not the full amount of threads. I don't know, you know how these separate? So I think what we're gonna have to do is go ahead and just separate it and not have the full thickness if I wanna stay with this color. I think it's thick enough. So let's try it one more time. If it is too short, we'll just go with a different thread. This is, sometimes I get something in my head that I want it to be a certain way. Not my greatest strength. Am I stubborn? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little stubborn. All right, luckily the pages are staying together. All right, one more time. Through the center hole. This time I'm going to the bottom. Doesn't really matter if you do the bottom or the top. Okay, bottom. All right, I'm gonna try to leave that about that length and hope I don't pull it through again. Now we're at the top, going back to the outside, and now up through the center hole again. Okay, I think I have enough. I think I just had to be patient, right? And then there was that strange thing with the threads. That looks nice, the green. I think it's thick enough. Tie it nice and snug, but not too tight. Get it tied together. Okay. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to leave them both about the same length, approximately. Now let's look at our signature. Isn't that pretty? That's almost like a burgundy red. A lighter green. Then there's kind of that bluey teal color. I like it. Okay. And I like that green too. Let's see. There's the train. Yeah, these papers make me happy. I've got to decide if we're going to leave this or if we're going to put something over it. I'm almost thinking fabric of some sort to cover up our work here. And if that's the case, if you decide to make one of these, don't worry about lining it with the paper bag. You know, just put, you could use cardboard from a food box, like a cereal box. That would work really well. Especially, you know, if we're going to cover it. So, okay. There we go. I'm going to have to do the stitching now with the signature in there, but that'll be okay. I'm going to think about my pom-pom trim and how I'm going to attach that, and we'll be back. We'll be back with some more. Again, decorating covers. I'm probably not going to do too much more. I may do something like some fluffy kind of white-looking snowball thing for the top of his hat. I mean, he doesn't have one, but I may add something like that. We may add a ribbon here, a red ribbon to the wreath, you know, I don't know. But I'm going to give all of that some thought. I want the cover to be very special, and then we'll do page ideas. I was thinking we might do Christmas number, like, you know, like for a December daily. I think if we did one, I'm trying to remember how many pages. What did I say? There were 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So that would be 20 if we just did the solid pages, but I also have this, which would get us to 22. I mean, and we could do one, I don't know, I was just, if I had done enough to have a page like this for each day, either of the month or at least up to Christmas, that would have been kind of fun. Okay, we'll think about it. We will think about it. We could also have a page, you know, that has like 2 pockets, and that could be like the first and the second. So, you know, you don't have to have a whole page. So maybe I'll do that. We'll see. And then we'll need some numbers too, won't we? Let me see what I can create. All right. I hope you guys like this. I hope you make a Christmas journal. Please, please, you can make this. You don't have to have a placemat. You can make a journal very similar with other supplies. So please join us and play along, okay? Thanks so much. I will have the kit linked and all of that for you in case you're interested. Use any papers that make you happy though. All right, see you soon. Bye.